Hi, boys and girls. I wanted to show you some different things we can do with shapes. So I would like you to take out your shape bucket. It looks like this. Now, something interesting about our shape bucket is we don't all have exactly the same shapes inside. So some of the things I'm going to show you, you might not be able to do, but you might be able to do other things with shapes that you have. All right, let's see what we can do. One of the fun things about shapes is recognizing that we can put them together and take them apart and do some different things with them. On one of our other videos, I showed you these two shapes kind of quickly. Now, when they're all by themselves, you can see we have two triangles, don't we? They're different than this triangle. Can you tell how? That's right. This triangle has sides that are all equal. This is an equilateral triangle. All these sides are the same. But look at this triangle. It's a right triangle. And it's got a long side, a longer side, and a short side. All right, now let's look at what I can do with these. If I turn these shapes, I can then put them together and look what I have. Yeah, I made another shape called a parallelogram. What if I flip this shape over and slide it down? I made another triangle, didn't I? I sure did. I could move them like this. Now look, I've got a triangle that is shaped like this triangle. Boys and girls, if my triangle is facing down, is it still a triangle? It is. So whether the face is pointing up or down, these are still triangles. Let's add some other shapes inside of my shape bucket. I'm going to dump it right out. See what I've got in here. All right. What's this one? Excellent. This is a square. And this is a rectangle. Good. Look what happens if I put my rectangle on top of this square and another rectangle on top of the square. In this case, these two rectangles make a square, don't they? Let's slide this over and you can see. So as we put shapes together, we can show different things. There's a long rectangle. If I put these two next to each other, look, I have another long rectangle. Here's something I like to think about. Do you know what these are? These each make 1/4 of a circle. If I put two of them together, I have half of a circle. How do I know it's going to be a circle? Watch. When I slide in these spaces, what do I have? I have a circle. Half of a circle, half of a circle. Sometimes we call half circles semicircles. It's kind of pretty if I move them like this. Does that remind you of a butterfly? Maybe if I put them a little closer together, see how I can imagine it to be a butterfly? Yeah. What about these two shapes? Do you remember what this is called? Oh, that one's called a trapezoid. Here's another trapezoid. Right now this reminds me a little bit of a tree. But if I flip this around, look at that. I've made a hexagon. It has 6 sides, 6 corners, right? What if I took a hexagon and I put a triangle on top and on the bottom? It's looking to me a lot like a diamond or a rhombus. What do you think? What if I kept going and I added triangles to the other sides of my hexagon? I'm going to move this one away for a second. Look at it. I made a triangle. Now, I've made a star. You know what's fun about shapes is we can use shapes to make patterns that expand out in a circle. All right. What else could we do with these? Well, I could keep adding other shapes to make the pattern expand. Yeah, you could kind of do this all day long if you had enough shapes, couldn't you? You could keep going and going. You could take some away and see what you've made. It's fun to see what we get when we put shapes together and take them apart. What about this? What if I had a rectangle here and a rectangle here and another rectangle here to make a flag? Can you still visualize the other parts? Try flipping them around. What would you get? If I put a long rectangle next to a short rectangle, I can make one great big long rectangle. Sometimes I can take these, slide them together, and what do you see? We call that one a parallelogram. I can also make it with these that are wider. I can slip these together. I've built another one of those shapes. Well, boys and girls, just from playing with these shapes a little bit, I see that there are many things that I can create and explore. I would like you to try this. Try flipping your shapes. Try sliding your shapes. Try turning your shapes. And see what you can make by doing these different things. All right. Can you also compare your shapes? How many of you have a very thick shape? Show me your thick shape. Here's my thick shape. When I look at it, I can see that it's thick right here. When I compare it to this shape, this one is thin. You see that? We have shapes of different sizes. Here, I have a small square. Here, I have a large square. How are these shapes the same? You're right, these shapes are all the same color. Very good. This time, I have a large triangle, a medium-sized triangle, and a small triangle. I can go from the largest to the smallest, or I can change the order and go from the smallest to the largest. There's different ways I can arrange those. Did you try to make any patterns with your shape? How about shapes? How about hexagon? Square. Hexagon. Square. I'm making an ABAB pattern art. Hexagon. Square. Very good. I could keep it going. Or I could make a different one. How about hexagon, square, square? Hexagon, square, square. All types of things we can do with our shapes. Well, boys and girls, if you really enjoy working with shapes, you could trace some of your shapes to make a picture at home. Then you could color it in. That's right, and that's what you can do if you don't have enough of the shapes to build the pattern that you would like to explore. You could do that. All right, boys and girls. Well, I'm going to share with you a little bit about Brown Rabbit and Brown Rabbit's shapes. We're getting a little bit of a glare there, aren't we? Let's see what we can do. I just don't think I can get the lighting fixed on this. Let's try this one. A little bit. Brown Rabbit's shape books. Let's see what Brown Rabbit was noticing and thinking about shapes. Now, are you tidying up your shapes, or are you playing with them and experimenting while I read? You can keep experimenting. I'm going to slide mine over so that you guys have more room to see my book. All right, by Alan Baker. Right, there is a book about Brown Rabbit in some colors, right? Oh, there is Rabbit again. One day a package arrived for Brown Rabbit. It had bright red triangles on the wrapping paper, all those triangles. The card was the shape of a rectangle. It said, "To Brown Rabbit." Rabbit took off the paper. Underneath was a square box. Rabbit lifted the lid. Was the lid? Inside was a tube. Oh, rabbits like to play with stuff like that. With this circle shape on top, Rabbit opened it. Does this tube remind you of the cylinder? There's the circle shape. Out tumbled 5 flat, floppy balloons of all different colors. Lovely balloons just waiting to be blown up. Do you think rabbits can blow up balloons? Let's find out. Rabbit blew up the red balloon. It was big and round like a ball. If it was round like a ball, do you think it would be called a sphere? Yes, it would. Whoosh! It flew off. The orange balloon was oval-shaped like an egg. Whoosh! It flew away. The green balloon was long and sausage-shaped. Rabbit couldn't hold it. Whoosh! Whoosh! Off it went. The purple balloon was smaller and shaped like a pear. One more puff, thought Rabbit. Then, bang! It burst. The last balloon was all colors, long and curly-whirly. It's a fun word. Do you want to say that? Curly-whirly? Whoosh! Blast off! Woo! Woo! Whoosh! Goodbye, balloon shapes. I'm all out of puff, thought Rabbit. He tidied up the balloons, the tube, the box, and the paper. Then rabbit-shaped Rabbit fell fast asleep on top. Look at that rabbit. He looks very at home inside of that box. Well, boys and girls, I want you to be like Rabbit and explore with shapes for a little bit. I'm sure you'll discover some very interesting things.